Hey everyone, thank you if you watched my first commentary video last week. Click the link to check it out if you missed it. This gameplay is from the face-off maps Lookout and Getaway, two maps that are not very care package friendly as we'll see. Today I'd like to give some background on my on and off gaming history. For those older gamers, I hope this brings back some memories. Now a lot of commentators have discussed the issues we older gamers face these days, from spouses who disapprove to bosses who just shake their heads. Now if you're a younger viewer, please don't shut this off. I promise this isn't going to be an old fart rant about the good old days. I like the latest technology just like anyone else. I'm 42, and people around my age were the first group of kids to really grow up on games and early PCs. I played my friend's Atari 2600 back when I was around 10. Others had Intellivisions and ColecoVisions. I also drank way too many big gulps and spent too many quarters playing Tron at my local mini-mart. I have to give my dad a lot of credit. He didn't buy us a console even though we whined about it incessantly. Instead, he got a Radio Shack color computer. This was truly an underdog compared to other PCs and consoles of the early 80s. It did actually do a good job mixing a variety of games with general PC functionality. Duh, no, that's not the care package, it's behind you. I taught myself BASIC, an early programming language, and tried to write my own games based on those I'd played. But the system had very little memory and often hit the memory ceiling with my rudimentary if-then-else kind of gaming logic. There really weren't any game engines like we know today. The graphics were limited to 4 colors, or 8 if you played a palette trick that effectively cut the horizontal resolution in half. You could even go what we called online back then to text-based bulletin boards using modems. We had both the phone-coupled kinds and the newer direct connection modems. But of course there were no multiplayer or co-op games, just chatting and boards. All during high school I played and programmed on the Apple IIe at school and an Apple IIgs at home. When I went to college we bought an early model Mac using my university student discount. I always had friends over in my dorm room playing Tetris on that Mac when it wasn't being used for word processing. There was a guy in the dorms who sold pot on campus, and since he was flush with cash, one night we went to a pawn shop and bought a large TV and an NES. We would play Mario endlessly, and unsurprisingly, with the combination of drugs, video games, and too much free time, some of them never graduated. Somehow with friends like that, I did actually graduate with an electrical engineering degree. Looking back, I sometimes kicked myself for not pursuing a game development career, but I really hadn't programmed any games in years, and was really just looking to find any computer-related job in the minor recession we had back in '93. I ended up working at Motorola on software for the Army. We had to use an old tedious language called Ada, but we eventually pushed for C++ for new work. But on the positive side, we were working on graphics-intensive real-time mapping applications and were able to use new, at the time, Silicon Graphics Workstation. In '93, the id shooter Doom was released for PC, and id later released the source code, and we were able to compile it on the SGI boxes, and we held office LAN parties after hours. But after this, I never went on to later versions of Doom or Quake, which I know really pushed the boundaries of online multiplayer at the time. So I took a really long break from games to focus on my career, marriage, and kids. Then around 2008, when we moved into a new house, I wanted to get a new high-def TV. While browsing Best Buy, I saw that PS3s had gone down to $400, so I picked one up with my new TV so I could watch Blu-rays. I asked the sales guy, so does this come with any games? Sadly no, this was before package deals. But I hit up Craigslist, Blockbuster, and GameStop for some cheap used games like MotorStorm and Metal Gear Solid 4, which were awesome games. I picked up Resistance and Killzone 2 and was instantly hooked on first-person shooters, but I never ventured online for multiplayer. And I didn't pick up the Call of Duty series until Black Ops, and finally did try some multiplayer, and then I understood the whole online scene that had been growing earlier. When Modern Warfare 3 came out, I went to my first midnight release party ever. It was kind of freaky seeing the wide variety of folks picking it up. The teenagers I expected, but there were also middle-aged guys like me. I went home and hit the multiplayer for a few hours before crashing for the night. I'm sure I'll do the midnight release for Black Ops 2, but this time I'll take a vacation day on Tuesday and see how long I can go. Well, that's it for now. Hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope you have a great day.